Hi, I'm Anna. I'm joined by Richard and we're travelling the UK looking for the best trail centres, hoping to inspire you guys to pick up your mountain bikes and get out and ride.
This week we're in the Forest of Dean, not far from the Welsh border, a well-renowned location that has a huge variety of trails. We've got downhill, we've got longer cross-country loops, we've got natural, and we've also got man-made surfaces in store. So I'm really excited to see what we're going to experience this weekend.
Yeah, this really is an episode for all the family, for every level of rider. This is Mountain Bike Adventures.
So many forests in the UK have been farmed with evergreen trees. The Forest of Dean is one of the few surviving ancient woodlands, and it's such a treat to ride wrapped in its natural beauty. I think everyone who has a mountain bike in the UK has heard of the Forest of Dean, but I didn't expect it to be quite such a big deal, with so much going on. It's a good idea to check the map and get our bearings of all that's on offer.
We'll start off, we've got the family cycle trail, which is just over the bridge behind us, and that's just under 10 miles, and it's a lovely loop on a disused railway line, so it takes you through the beautiful forest. And then we step up from there, almost like on a ski grading system. So from family cycle trail, we've got the Verdurous trail, which is the first blue mountain bike trail. So proper single track, flowing through the forest, 11 kilometres long, and ends up with a really, really good descent down the Dragon's Tail, back down towards the centre. And then we move on to the Free Miners trail. So again, red graded trail, so it's slightly more technical than riding out on the blue. And you've got two options here, an original 4.5 kilometre loop, or now there's an extension that again will take that up to 11 kilometres. And then we finish off, we've got the downhill trails. There's 10 official now downhill lines down the hill, run kind of top to bottom from the drop off for the uplift, and then you can shred those all the way back down to the centre.
I'm kind of used to seeing downhill trails, or the hardest trails, graded as black, whereas here they're orange. What's the thinking behind that?
Yeah, the Forestry Commission decided actually with the downhill tracks they wanted to kind of split the grade in, so they've graded them as bike park trails, mainly because they've got obviously all the jumps and the features and stuff in them as well, but they've then graded them 1 dot, 2 dot or 3 dot downhill trails. So the 3 dot ones are the most technical and the 1 dot ones are a little bit easier.
What do you fancy doing first?
Why not in at the deep end, give the downhill a go, eh? I've done so many years sat in grubby locations, eating my lunch in a puddle of mud, but here, wow, it's got a right vibe going on. Keeps it authentic, but adds a bit of comfort, so you're able to make a full day of it.
Oh, this is nice. I love a cafe where you can get some avocado.
I like a cafe where you can get a steak pie with gravy. It's amazing.
I'm so much more hipster than you.
You are, yeah.
So London.
So London.
find out more about this place, we grabbed a coffee with Ian, the owner of the cafe, bike hire, bike shop and workshop.
The whole Forest of Dean's really different to riding elsewhere in the country because it must be the only place where you can teach your kids to ride on the flat family trail just across the bridge there, all the way up into introductory mountain biking, right the way through to, you know, there's World Cup riders practicing and training up here all the time on the downhill runs. So it's got that full range. So, you know, the whole business is sort of, and the riding here has sort of evolved. As you can see today,
it seems like the place has developed loads over the years. I remember coming here, I think I must have been around 12 or something like that with my mum and dad. Yeah, long time ago.
The trail network just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It's an incredible place.
Yeah, and I seem to remember back then, I think my dad was never really into mountain biking, but he wanted to have a go because I was so keen. And I think he hired a bike back then. Is that something you still offer?
Yeah, we've still got a big hire range. We've got over 300 hire bikes.
Wow,
everything
300?
From, everything from comfortable sort of leisure bikes for pootling around the family trail with trailers and kid seats, through a range of hardtails, quite a few full-size bikes, and we've got a demo fleet as well. So we've sort of got bikes for every riding ability and inclination.
Such a nice vibe you've got going on around here. I just feel like I could just sit here all afternoon, but then you kind of think, oh, I've got to get up riding.
Got to go and ride your bike, but then you can come back, have a coffee, have a piece of cake. You know, Pat's cakes are famous. They're you know, everything's made in there, so and they're legendary. So.
Yeah.
An adventurous characteristic of Forest of Dean is that there are literally hundreds of unofficial official trails. The Forestry Commission has actually allocated the whole area to mountain biking. So long as you stick within the boundaries, you're free to explore and ride whatever you like. I've just eaten so much dust following you down there. I couldn't see a thing. You were like, you're not going to be able to see anything.
I did say don't follow. And then you were like, yeah, I'm going to follow. I was like, well, okay, it's up to you. When the trails are dusty with less traction, it's sometimes hard to hit your braking points. Having brakes that are predictable is a real bonus. At least you know where you're at with the bike, even if the ground is playing awkwardly with you.
Whatever type of mountain bike you ride, nothing has made more difference in the past 20 years to control, confidence and being able to go fast, safely than hydraulic disc brakes. Disc brakes are brilliant because the braking surface is in the centre of the wheel. That means it's clean, even when you've been riding through muddy puddles or other contamination. Hydraulic systems are great because the hydraulic fluid adjusts for pad wear. It can cope with heat expansion on really long descents. And also, although it sounds complicated, it's actually a lot easier to deal with over time. However, you do need to look after your braking system, whatever you've got. First most obvious problem is alignment. That's when the pads rub against the rotor. Hopefully, in most cases, it's simply a case of undoing the bolts on the caliper slightly, adjusting the caliper, either through squeezing the brake so it self-aligns, or through just looking at it. If that doesn't work, it may be that the pads are sticking. That can happen to older brakes. So slide a flat piece or some kind of tool in between, just lever it apart slightly so you get the retraction that you need, so the brakes are working. If that hasn't solved the problem, you might have dirty pads or a dirty rotor. Dirty pads, there's nothing you can do about. Those are going in the bin. Rotors can be cleaned. There are various disc brake cleaners, disc brake cleaner wipes around. Use bicycle ones, not motorcycle or car ones, because they tend to leave residue on there. If that hasn't solved it, then you probably need to bleed the system. It sounds scary, but all you're doing is chasing air bubbles out. So it's just a case of opening one end of the system, whether it's the far end with a syringe, or if it's an open reservoir system, and just using that syringe to flush fresh oil through from the far end so that bubbles and any dirt pop up out of the system. You just keep doing that until there's no more bubbles, no more dirty fluid. Lock it all down, and you're good to go. Once your brakes are working exactly how they should do, you can adjust them slightly in terms of the feel on the bars. All brakes pretty much have reach adjust. That's how far the actual physical lever blade sits away from the bar. More advanced brakes also let you adjust the bite point, which is how soon in the stroke the brakes actually come on. You can change the power of the brake really easily without switching the brake. It's simply a case of using a different size rotor. The three main rotor sizes are 160, 180, 200. A 160mm rotor is 20% less powerful than a 180mm rotor and 40% less powerful than a 200mm rotor. So, brakes. They might sound scary with words like hydraulic and bleeding involved, but they're really, really simple to get working perfectly. And nothing gives you more confidence to really, really push your ride into the next level than having brakes that are working as best they can. So, spend a little time, get to know your brakes, and you really, really will reap the rewards out on the trail.
You got the tool on you. I just need to tighten up a few bolts on the back end of my bike.
Do you know what else I've got?
What?
You sound so suspicious.
What? Good work. Cheers. Imagine if we saw some wild boar now.
Oh, I would love it.
Trundling through.
That would just be the perfect way to finish this ride.
How about you? I can't imagine Croydon was like the hotbed of mountain biking.
You'd be surprised. No, it wasn't actually.
So I wouldn't be surprised.
No, you wouldn't. My dad always says that he was cycling before cycling was cool.
Oh, okay.
So in order for him to carry on doing it, he took me and my brother to cyclocross races as well. So when I was 5, I did my first cyclocross race. But I was never really super serious about it. It was more like a community thing. I had friendship groups in my cycling. And then I hit teenage years and I just really lost interest in it. I really barely cycled at all. And it wasn't until after I finished uni that I got onto a mountain bike. Like, got really into it. Like, became fully obsessed with it. Yeah. Haven't looked back really.
Oh, brilliant.
And here I am, sat in a bluebell forest, having a cider, making TV shows about mountain biking.